Hello, viewers, and good evening, and welcome to Talk Sport on Premier Standard, Premier Fan Center, Premier Sports Fan Center. And tonight in the studio, we're going to be talking football. We're going to be talking things and events that happened in the past week, and we're going to be projecting into the coming week. Tonight, we're going to be discussing a huge number of issues from La Liga to Premiership to Bundesliga to Eredivisie, as well as Ligue 1 and the rest of the world. We'll also be looking at a number of issues in the Champions League, in the Europa League, how they fared during the week, and how the teams performed. Welcome again to Talk Sport on Premier Sports Fan Center. And with me tonight, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have some wonderful gentlemen whom you should be acquainted to by now. To my far left is Paulo on the other side. Paulo, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So excited to be here once again, to discuss, like you said earlier on, everything that happened in the world of football. So very happy to be here.
Thank you, Paulo, and you are welcome. Next to Paulo, I have the the great man here, the pundit, Yemi himself. Yemite.
Good evening, sports fans. So good to be here. 7 days has gone. A lot has happened. The giant has fallen. And let's just get right to it, and we'll see how far we can go with it.
Right, so we'll see how far we go with this tonight. So we're going to dive straight into action as we progress in tonight's Talk Sports. And firstly, we're going to look at what's happening in the English clubs, their performances in the Champions League. This seems to be like a new era for English clubs in Champions League. A record league entry for English clubs for 2025-26 season. This time around, we're going to be having about 6 teams represent England or EPL in the Champions League. Yeah, Mike, let's take it from you. How do you think that's going to affect the strength and the face and the status of EPL in the Europe?
First, the coefficient, the performance of the club of a particular country in the Champions League. I think that will boost their chances of retaining that 5 slot. And when you look at it, the financial power of the English clubs are a bit higher than the other countries when you compare them. So the 6 teams have a war chest to go into the market with and get talents. You can hear this evening that Liverpool is already almost a done deal with Florian Wirtz, one of the most talked about players.
But I hear Florian Wirtz was almost done with Bayern Munich.
No, there was no almost there because Bayer Leverkusen was tilted towards saying that they want to sell the player abroad. They don't want to sell the player to a direct rival. And when you look at it, Man City saw that the package it will be too costly for them, and I think they've turned their own direction to Rangers of AC Milan. So when you look at the way the transfer window is, and the one with the financial muscle will most likely get their way.
The player.
And the money is there for the English clubs.
Right.
It will be a whole big
Right. So the English clubs have an advantage because they have the money. Paulo, let's look at it like this. Having 6 Premiership sides in the UEFA Champions League for the coming season, does it put more pressure on the English sides to pick up the trophy? As it is, they are not in contention. We have Inter and PSG in the final. And for next season, does it add to their pressure or does it increase their rivalries?
Well, I think it should add, pressure. Having about maybe 1/3 of the whole, clubs coming participating in that competition. Playing for in the Champions League, coming from England, I think it's a morale booster one for them, and it gives them a lot of chance going into the tournament. And at least if you can have 6 teams, there's a possibility that one among those 6 we get the trophy, and it's a very good one for the league itself. Talking about the English Premier League, and if they can also go ahead and achieve the feat they achieved this season,
right,
they might still retain the slot come next season. So I think it's a morale booster one for them, and it's also give them
the needed advantage.
Yeah, advantage.
Now, you don't think it's too much pressure on the clubs?
I don't think so.
Before we round this up, do you think this would dilute the Champions League? Possibly will have weaker teams going into Champions League. For example, one of the latest qualifiers was Tottenham Hotspur at number 17th on the league table. What kind of quality do you expect Tottenham finishing 17th position with 38 points?
No, sometimes you don't want to compare league form and cup form. Those competitions, sometimes it can be different. The approach. See, there is talent in those clubs. Sometimes you can have a bad season.
Right.
We saw Manchester United defeat Bilbao. That is one of the high flyers in La Liga this season. Defeated them so easily. So when you look at that, that is a testament to the fact that sometimes you can be bad in the league. It doesn't mean that the Champions League.
But we know that Man U and Tottenham had a very poor form
in the league, 16,
poor run of form, and one of the advantages I think they had against Bilbao will be the injury spell on the major key players.
I think
the
Williams was available
for the second leg. None of them played.
But they lost 3-0 in the first leg when they were there. Williams was there. The full squad was there, and they lost 3 goals to 0 at home.
Right.
And they were already.
And I think they got the red card.
So you down. So you don't think it's going to dilute?
I don't think so. I think it is even going to blow-start the competition because there's viewership for the English game.
Right.
And when it should be 4, now 6 going. That means you have more views, and where do you make the money from?
And that's huge, really. Going from 4 to 6, that's 2 additional EPL sides, and that's going to take a lot of fans, fan base from England. And England has the highest fan base anyway in terms of football viewership. So we're going to agree here tonight that it might not dilute it. Viewers, if you have different opinions, you can go onto our YouTube page or you log on to our Facebook page at Premier Sports Fan Center and then put in your own comments in there. Or you can call our number you can see on the screen. The number is there right there on the screen. Make a call in and let's hear your opinion on having 6 Premiership sides. And this time around, I believe we're going to have Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City still contending with Newcastle, contending with Chelsea.
When you look at the permutation and the combination, you will see that it looks like Man City has qualified, because when you permutate it together and look at the goal difference and the realistic part of it, I think Man City. So
it looks like we have Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and how about Newcastle?
Newcastle must win.
Paulo,
I think
who's joining them after Newcastle?
One
more.
City, I don't think they've qualified.
How about Chelsea, Aston Villa? Who's coming in?
It's going to be a very difficult one for me to call at the moment.
Villa.
Advantage Villa.
Aston Villa. In fact, advantage should go to, I think, Newcastle, because if on paper, looking at the fixture, I think they have the easiest to me, because they are playing Everton compared to Chelsea playing one of the follow contender, talking about Nottingham Forest. Was it Man City going away to Covent Cottage there? That's against Fulham. Why Aston Villa is playing already overbeaten.
So you think the Toffees are a rundown for?
I think
for Newcastle.
and for Manchester City, I think they only need to avoid defeat. A draw will be enough for them because of the goal.
Okay, so you heard it. A draw will be enough to put Manchester City in the driving seat for Champions League for next season. And before I close the segment, you know how much comes with playing in the Champions League for these sides. This year, this particular season, I think the winner is going away with about 150 million, if I'm correct.
Yeah, close to that. And looking at it, from the English perspective, the English team tends to generate more money than the other clubs from the other leagues. Looking at the Champions League gives them a lot of money. Take Arsenal for example. Getting to the semi-final, Arsenal earned more money than Barcelona. Both of them ended in the same semi-final. Yeah, but Arsenal still earned more money. So it's a very, very good one for the English league. Having 6 teams going forward into the Champions League.
And another breaking news is that Jonathan Tah, the central back of Bayer Leverkusen,
right,
is on his way to Bayern Munich.
I think that one
he
has
done the-
that one has been there
Okay,
since,
so we're going to be
He
looking
has
at
he just became
at
a-
transfers and roundups at a particular segment.